Is there a Game of Thrones or Westeros AAA video game in production? Let's find out.
Do you know what legacy means?
It's what you pass down to your children and your children's children. It's what remains of you when you're gone.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Legacy of Westeros. Apologies, we've been away for a little while. Zach and I have been busy launching our brand new movie show, Flixbusters, which you can find over at our Fandom Empire channel on YouTube. The link is down below in the description. But welcome back again to the Legacy of Westeros, your one-stop shop for all things Westeros. Please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and slash that notification bell. Again, as long as it's not going to make you go mad and burn down King's Landing. Apparently, people frown upon that. Anyways, on to our multiple choice question for this video. And it is, what Westeros-based video game would you like to see produced most? Is it A, a Game of Thrones RPG that can change the events of the show? So think what they did with the Game of Thrones Telltale game, but on a much bigger budget, much more immersive gameplay that would take a lot longer to make as well. Do you want that? Do you want a House of the Dragon game that focuses on dragons? Do you want to play through Robert's Rebellion and maybe change the history of Westeros as you know it? Do you want to go back to Old Valyria? And that's one I find intriguing, just because we have some of the history there, but there's a lot we don't know, and it'd be interesting to play through that and its destruction on a video game. And something set way, 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 way in the past or in the future. Please comment down below and let us know what you think. For me personally, I'm going for option A. I would love a massive budget Game of Thrones RPG done by a well-known studio. As we mentioned off the top, in this video we discuss the rumor that's out there that popped up in a gaming convention not too long ago, within the last few weeks, and some people have been talking about it online, that a studio might be in early development, pre-production if you will, on a Game of Thrones or Westeros-based RPG game. Now, as much as I want to believe this, and believe me, I do, I think we need to take a brief look at the history of Game of Thrones games. And the truth is, it's not a history that to write home about at all. One of the most well-known ones is the Game of Thrones game that came out for the Xbox 360 and I believe other platforms. It was done by Cyanide Studios. That same studio, by the way, owes a bunch of people money for promoting their stuff online, and they didn't follow through with payments. So probably not a good way to get word out about a game. That being said, although I have not played this title myself, I think there are some redeeming qualities here. There's characters that you know and you spend time with, like Jeor Mormont. So I think it's worth looking into. I also think looking at the Telltale game that came out and ultimately never really was fully finished to the extent that they wanted to, allows you to sort of live in that Westeros time. If I remember correctly, I've only played it through once. You go back around the time of the Red Wedding, and it sort of picks up from there. And, you know, things that you do change the outcome of the story. I dig games like that. I like games like that. And Telltale does a good job of doing games like that. Now, keep in mind, they're low-budget things, so we got to manage expectations for sure. The problem is, the Telltale game had controversy around it and never really was fully complete to the level that they wanted. The Xbox 360 game had controversy around it. A lot of people thought it was rushed and that the gameplay was choppy and it's nothing to write home about graphically. And yet if you go on YouTube and look at some of the clips of that game, it's not awful by any means. So it'll be interesting to see if they're willing to take a gamble on a Game of Thrones game. And that's the rumor that's out there. And look, all the other games are basically, if it's not, basically a card-playing game for the Nintendo Switch or various strategy games for mobile, most of them quite terrible. Game of Thrones and Westeros just have not had any level of success in video games. So when the rumor comes out that there might be a Game of Thrones game in development, a big budget one, it makes me excited. And yet at the same time, until there's official word, until there's a studio attached, I gotta remain very, very cautious about this. I don't even know if I'm optimistic. I want it to happen. I think it would be amazing. Hell, I think a Westeros MMO is something to look into more so. And as far as I know, that's not being done. And as far as I know, this isn't the rumor of an MMO. It's the rumor of an RPG. I think both would be exceptional additions to Westeros content. That being said, video games aren't cheap. They take a long time to produce properly. And I think if you put out something that's rushed or half-assed, it doesn't live up to what the TV show is. And you can be critical over the TV show's story, but you cannot be critical over the TV show's production. The production, for my money, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, is literally the best small screen production we have ever seen. The quality has never been matched in my eyes. And if you release a half-assed video game, it doesn't look good. And it already doesn't look good that they've released so many half-assed mobile strategy games and just, they don't go anywhere. They're fun to play, I guess, on your phone once in a while, but there's nothing really immersive about them. So sadly, it's cheaper to produce those style of games, and they're usually full of microtransactions and spend a few bucks here, a few bucks there. And, as much as I want to see this come to light, at the end of the day, I think it's far more likely they keep doing the silly little mobile route and making cheap games like that. I want a highly produced AAA title, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Westeros game, whatever you want to call it. I'm in. I'm fully in. I'm as in as you fucking possibly can be. I just don't think it's going to happen. We'll have to stay tuned. Hopefully, I'm not raining on anyone's parade. My fingers are crossed it happens. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Westeros-style video game at a big budget? Or would you accept a half-assed game just so you can, play in the sandbox that is Westeros? I don't know. For me, the quality's got to be there, or else why do it? You may feel differently. Comment down below and share your thoughts there. Again, if you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe, slash that notification bell, and share your thoughts down below on the multiple choice question, on just the rumor of a Game of Thrones or Westeros video game. What do you think about it? Let us know down below. And before we go, I'd just like to remind everybody that Zach and I have started a brand new show, Flixbusters, over on our Fandom Empire channel, where each week we review a new movie, talk about a little bit of movie news, and rank it similar to Rotten Tomatoes, but it's a bit of a spin on Blockbuster and Netflix combined, if you will. So check that out, Flixbusters. We kind of put a video on trial, and we determine the judgment of each and every movie that we discuss. Check that out, Fandom Empire on YouTube. And stay tuned for more. If you want to support the channel on another level, do so. Patreon.com/Fandom Empire. There'll be 1 to 2 Beyond the Wall episodes a month over there. And then we have other content, Star Wars. Dropping the ball here. Star Wars, Halloween, horror, movies in general. You name it, we probably have it. Check us out, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you've watched all the way to the end, appreciate it. It helps the algorithm on this wonderful service. And I use air quotations when I say that, even though you cannot see me. And I also remind you that don't ever forget that the night is dark and full of terrors.
Do you know what legacy means?
It's what you pass down to your children and your children's children. It's what remains of you when you're gone.